Hi, Leslie. How are you? This is Yan. Obviously, I don't know who else it would be. Some strange duck-like imposter because my voice is so crazy for me. It's probably not that crazy for you. I'm probably overly self-conscious. But hi, I'm so happy to be back with you this week. And holy freaking cow, girl, you are just like an editing guru. I'm so impressed with your edits and the way your edits show your vision. Let's just jump right in with your first image. I love the starting point for this image, the straight out of camera, and where you took it, because it shows to me your vision. It shows to me like what you were feeling when you shot the image, where you took it to like the final product. If this had been me, I probably wouldn't have thought to make it that black and white and that tight crop. Good job on cropping, not at the limb. You did at your SOC, but in your final crop, you went in between, which is good. And I brought the emphasis in on her blowy hair. And the fact that you turned it to black and white brought out her freckles, which I am dying over. Totally dying over. I also love that you didn't smooth this girl to pieces, that I can see wrinkles in her forehead. I can see a decent amount of light in her eyes, that she looks absolutely gorgeous and absolutely natural at the same time. Do I wish that her dress wasn't a little bit blown over here? Yes, I do, but it's not a big deal. To me, it's not enough to toss the image. Sometimes in overcast conditions, we lose whites faster. And so I know that can be tricky. In this case, I think it's good that you kept the image. I love that you shot it with your 85 and created this blur and this depth here. Good call on that, because I know with the 85 sometimes it's hard to get back enough and still feel like you're interacting with your client. But really pretty, perfect focus, perfect clarity. I love the conversion. You asked my opinion on the matte thing, and here it is. For this image, I think it works. I think it's beautiful. It's funny because this doesn't feel so matte to me, as it just feels like a nice, evenly toned black and white. I do know what you're talking about, but I see a lot of images that are way more matte than this. And although I like them and they have a certain appeal, it's kind of interesting because with film, images that are kind of matte and flat like that, that's actually what underexposed black and white film looks like. So traditionally, it would be thought of kind of like negatively by like your old school shooters, I think, and we've kind of just like dug the look. But you know what? Like, I am all for knowing why, the why behind things. And then once you know that, if you're still okay with it, if you still think it's beautiful, why not? Like, give yourself the creative freedom to enjoy that if you enjoy it. But be educated, about certain looks. Be educated that a super, super matte black and white portrait actually looks like an underexposed image to like your old school viewer or whatever. This doesn't look super matte to me. It doesn't look overexposed. I think it's beautiful. Like I said, the only thing I would have done differently is I would have preferred to not have this blown. But other than that, I love this image. So I'm going to go on to number 2. Holy crap, I can't even believe that you saved this image. It blows my mind. If I would have been going through my images, I wouldn't have even looked at the interaction. I would have just been like, well, Yan, you blew that. So I have no idea how you managed to save this image in editing and make it look so beautiful. I don't even see grain. Is that your camera? Let's go back, and I think your Nikon. Take it with my 50mm. I can't remember if you're Nikon or Canon. But whatever it is, I can't believe how smooth this image is. Did you use portraiture here? Dad looks a little smoother than I even want him to. Just because he's a man, and I like my men to be a little bit rough and gruff around the edges, and I can't see his jawline as well anymore. But otherwise, it just looks creamy and beautiful. And you're right, the interaction is amazing. Again, they are dead center, which I think it works here. It's okay, but if I'm being picky, dead center is probably not the best idea. Plus, this little line back here, it's running kind of right through baby's neck, and then this one is kind of too close to dad's neck. You know, if you can, it's always best to avoid horizon lines going through chopping people's necks. It's okay, it's better to be like mid-head. That's a little bit better, but right at their neck, you don't want that kind of decapitated feel. I don't think it overwhelms this image at all, but if I had to pick it apart, that's what I would say. I would also say, even though you embrace this image for the interaction and the beauty, I think you're still doing yourself an injustice with overly perfecting your images. I don't think that that's what you love. You expressed an interest in spontaneity and an interest in kind of that raw feeling, and with dad's face so smooth and even mom a little smooth, that might be what they preferred, and it does look like a beautiful classic timeless image. It doesn't have that rawness that your first image has, with her hair messy and her peeking through her hair and her freckles. And it's up to you, Leslie, to decide if this is acceptable for you, if that's what you want to shoot for your clients. You might feel frustrated because you feel like that's what they want, but girl, if that's what you're showing in your portfolio, then of course you're going to get clients who want that coming to you. But if that's not what you want, if you're not pleased with that, then you gotta be tossing these kind of images. You have to stay true to yourself and keep this image raw, a little more raw in some way. For me, I would have left some grain if there was grain. I love grain. It makes it a little more nitty and gritty. So that would be my suggestion here. The third image, gosh, I can't even believe that. Again, that's such an amazing save. Okay, let's go on to the third one. You said with this image, you know, the edit is beautiful. It's a little more stiff than you would have liked, and I agree. They probably loved it. They probably saw this image and thought, wow, what a beautiful portrait. And your horizon line, good. It's okay to be through their heads. It's not cutting off their necks again. Your color is good. It's so beautiful. You didn't do a ton to the image. The original image itself, the exposure is perfect. I like the framing with the grass. I love all of that. But again, it is stiff. It doesn't feel like you. I don't know what the other images look like. I don't know if you're able to loosen them up. But the way to not get people like this is to not show people like this. If I shot this image, and I might have, I might have had a family like this, there's no way I'd put this on my website or my blog. Not for them, not for viewers. When I blog for myself and I blog for my future clients. I always ask myself, is this image going to start attracting the kind of client that it's a joy to work with? I think part of the reason, Leslie, you're feeling frustrated is because you get some clients that are totally perfect for you and some clients that you're kind of having to lower yourself to their aesthetic, not to your aesthetic. You're kind of matching what they give you, which is they're all wearing white, they're all adults. They're not someone that you felt like you could do your thing with and get loose with. And if you knew that was that kind of client and that you didn't want to work with it, learn to say no if you can. Like there's some of us who are paying the bills and we kind of have to like take what we can get. But I believe that in the long run, even if you're like struggling, saying no to the clients that aren't right for you, that don't make you excited, will help your business in the long run. Will make for a much more gratifying experience in building your client base overall. It's easy to want to kind of like sell out to ourselves and just shoot whatever we get, but you're frustrated, you're not happy right now, and I think that might be part of the reason why. So that's what, that would be my big advice to you. Be more selective in who you accept as clients. Be more selective in what you show. Only show the images that make you excited, And if you're frustrated at getting them, talk to me and we'll talk about ways to loosen up our clients as we shoot them, because I have lots of tips in that area that might take too long for me to go into in this critique. But one last thing, the only thing about the processing that I would say, I love the warmth of your images. They are creamy and peachy and gorgeous. The only one that didn't work on is Dad. or husband right here, younger husband, he is a little bit red. And I can't tell who's bigger. Both mom and daughter or whatever look small here. You might have done better to put mom's shoulder in front, or to have angled her a little bit, because she kind of looks so squared up at the camera that it's making her look broader than she is. She's a very fit, beautiful girl. If you had angled her a little bit in instead of having her dead squaring up to the camera, it would have been a little bit more flattering to her. And then I would have selectively taken some red out of him. I use my quick selection tool, select, modify, feather. I feather to 15. Oh, and it's such a small image that it's cutting him off there, but I'll show you anyway. Then I select my reds, and I just would have brought them down in dad. And sometimes if you bring them so far down that they start to look a little gray, if you go back and you add a little bit more yellow, it makes them look more tan instead of red. So let's see. That was him originally. And then that's him with like the red that I took out, just to give you an idea of what that does. So anyway, Leslie, I think you are so talented. I want to help you break through your current frustration and to get those raw, uncanned moments. And it basically, girl, what it takes is guts. Is guts to be true to you and true to what you love. And a high tolerance for making yourself look like an idiot. I would have told the husbands here, whisper something in your wife's ear, and I want it to be funny. I want you to make them giggle. I want it to look not perfect, and then after I loosened them up and caught a spontaneous moment like that, then I would have said, now everybody look here real quick, and would have caught a little bit more of a natural expression smile from them and had their heads kind of all in together. Even if they're stiff, I make people do that, and sometimes it flops. And then I just roll with it and fall back on like these safe poses. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. I'm going to cut myself off here. But thank you, Leslie. I hope that is helpful for you. Let me know what you think, girl. Okay, bye-bye.